so if you see a ratio on a cannabis product, like 20-1 CBD to THC, that means for every 20 milligrams of CBD, there's 1 milligram of THC. So that would be like a high CBD product.
Yep.
Or you could have like the opposite, where it's really high THC, really low CBD. So I think if you're new to cannabis, I would start with something that's much higher in CBD than THC, and just kind of experiment with that. And if you find the relief that you're looking for, whether it's anxiety, pain, sleep, then you can stay at that ratio, stay at that dose. If you feel like you need more relief and you want to kind of up the level of THC, some people feel better at like a 10-1 ratio of CBD to THC, or an 8-1 or a 4-1. And some people my dad takes a 1-1 ratio. So it's 50-50 because he gets the most relief from having that amount of THC, where you will feel a high. Some people are more comfortable with that than others.
Sure.
But when it comes to pain and sleep and nausea and all of those things, different levels of THC can make a difference.
Yeah, no, that's super helpful. For me, I like CBD before bed as well to help fall asleep. And some of the other things you mentioned there as well, definitely I resonate with. Are there, for some people, can they have a different reaction or experience different effects from cannabis? I've mentioned how life-changing it's been and how I feel like it's made me a better person. But I also know some people that have experienced more of like paranoia when they have cannabis. Can you maybe kind of touch on that further, on the difference between, how one person can have a great experience and the other person can have not so great of an experience? Yes.
I will say that the paranoia thing typically comes from higher levels of THC. So if you're experiencing paranoia from cannabis, you may want to bump up your levels of CBD higher and bump down the THC. And that's pretty common. But one of the reasons that it affects people so differently is because we all have this system in our body called the endocannabinoid system. And it works with the molecules in the cannabis plant. So we have receptors that these molecules in the cannabis plant will bind to and interact with that can cause different reactions within the body. And the system is designed to keep us in homeostasis or balance. So, it will naturally fluctuate our levels of cannabinoids, which we have in our body already. They're called endocannabinoids, and the ones inside the cannabis plant are phytocannabinoids, but they all work with the same system. And all of us have a different system. So we have different levels of these endocannabinoid molecules, circulating through our body. You and I will have totally different levels, depending on a lot of things, lifestyle, genetics, all of that. And also just the quality of the receptors and the amount of receptors. We all have different amounts. So that's something that they're currently studying, right? It's called the endocannabinoid tone. And they are working on, being able to test that better for people so we can really be more targeted with our cannabis therapeutics. But it's kind of like, I always compare it to, your digestive system. Like what food works for you may be different than what food works for me. We all have a different state of our microbiome and our digestive system. So it's kind of like that. So that's why some people will interact differently. So that's why you have to do a lot of experimentation to find, what dose and product works for you.